Hello, passionate Celtic fans. Here we are again, diving deep into the whirlwind that is life at Celtic Football Club just now. If you've been following, Saturday's derby was a tough one, and the aftermath is something no fan could ignore. The squad's mood, the manager's reactions, and the chatter in the press room are all pointing to a period of turbulence, and there's plenty to unpack. Let's start with Luke McCauley, whose comments after the game have stirred more discussion than any result on the pitch. He spoke honestly, straight from the heart, and it's clear emotions were running high. Emotions. McCauley didn't mince words when asked if the players were still behind Wilfried Nancy. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the players have no choice but to be, because he's the manager and they need to pull together. But it wasn't just about stating loyalty. It was the undertone of frustration, the sense that things aren't clicking as they should. In the first half, the plan worked, the execution was decent, but the second half saw a collapse, and McCauley's words carried that sting of disappointment. Football is a simple game on paper, yet the reality can be brutal when tactics, mentality, and execution fall out of alignment. He mentioned the need to understand what went wrong, to correct it, but also highlighted the harsh truth that mid-season there's little time for sentiment, results are king, and the pressure is relentless. It's not just a manager's headache, it's shared across the squad. And yet there's an impression that some of the lads aren't fully invested, that the defeat isn't hitting everyone with the same intensity. When McCauley spoke about returning home and staring at a blank TV screen instead of enjoying highlights or a bit of entertainment, it underlined the personal toll this period is taking on him, but it also highlighted a contrast. While he seems deeply affected, there's a sense that the rest of the squad might not share the same level of concern. Some seem detached, going through the motions, and that's a dangerous sign for any club. The honesty in his statements is a rare glimpse behind the scenes. There's talk of disharmony, whispers of dissatisfaction from other players, and the absence of certain figures from the media adds weight to these assumptions. Cole McGregor, for instance, has largely avoided public comment since Nancy's appointment, and one could speculate that it's because he might echo some of the same frustrations, perhaps even more forcefully. The dynamic here is complex. A new manager trying to instill his philosophy while navigating a squad that may not be fully committed, seasoned players who have seen better days under previous regimes, and a fan base that's questioning every decision. It's a pressure cooker environment, and you can see why every word and action carries extra weight. Beyond McCauley's comments, the squad's situation paints a broader picture of Celtic's current struggles. The derbies, cup games, and league matches have exposed cracks in both performance and morale. There's a sense that under Wilfried Nancy, the team isn't cohesive, that trust and belief haven't been fully established, and results on the pitch are reflecting that. Contrast this with previous eras, where even during tough spells under Anapolu or Brendan Rodgers, there was a unity, a shared determination to turn things around, and players remained visibly committed. Now, though, the feeling is one of resignation for some, a sense that the fight isn't there, and that's a stark reality for any manager. The responsibility is shared, of course. Managers need to inspire, players need to deliver, but when the squad collectively fails to buy in, it's the manager who bears the brunt publicly. Yet you can't ignore the performances, or lack thereof, from certain individuals. Recent weeks have seen key figures underperform, make costly errors, and contribute to a growing sense of unease. Fans can debate whose fault it is, but the combination of underwhelming play and public comments from figures like Macaulay signals a club in turmoil. Then there's the matter of squad changes and speculation around transfers. The January window is always a chaotic period, and Celtic are no exception. Names are flying, exits and arrivals are being debated, and the media is full of conjecture. Players like Hayato Inamura and Jemiah Simpson-Pussy, leaving on loans with varying degrees of success or failure, highlight the club's challenges in recruitment. Inamura, for example, barely featured before heading to FC Tokyo, a reminder of how certain signings simply haven't panned out, and Simpson-Pussy's brief spell and early exit to Germany is another case of a player not fulfilling expectations, a recurring theme that fans have been discussing for months. On the incoming side, there's talk of Jocelyn Taby, a young Israeli winger, and Steven Moreira, a defender linked to Columbus Crew. While both have potential, the excitement is tempered and supporters are cautious, wondering if these additions can genuinely address the gaps in quality and mentality within the squad. It's a juggling act between shoring up the team, planning for the present, and investing wisely for the future, all under the relentless scrutiny of a passionate fan base. Off the pitch, the appointment of James Bell Walker as a scout, formerly of Chelsea, indicates a move to strengthen recruitment and scouting networks. Replacing Jay Lefebvre, the club is clearly attempting to bolster its behind-the-scenes operations, even if results on the field are less than convincing. Meanwhile, the departure of figures like Stevie Woods as goalkeeping coach, amid whispers of tensions with Nancy, adds to the perception of instability. The manager is trying to implement his methods, but without full support from staff and players, the process becomes harder and scrutiny intensifies. Celtic support, always vocal and deeply invested, is reacting strongly, and there's discussion around coordinated action from the fan base to send a message to the board, highlighting dissatisfaction with performances, management, and the overall direction of the club. It's a period of uncertainty and frustration where every decision, every statement, every match result matters more than usual. Players' morale, coaching decisions, recruitment strategies, and supporter sentiment are all intertwined, and missteps in any of these areas ripple through the club. The narrative is one of tension, expectation, and the need for clarity. The squad needs direction, management needs commitment, and fans demand respect and results. As Celtic navigate this turbulent patch, the questions keep mounting. Can Wilfried Nancy turn things around with the resources and attitude at his disposal? Will the players fully buy into his vision, or will disunity persist? Are the recruitment choices going to strengthen the team or merely patch over deeper problems? Every passing week feels decisive, every match a test, and every public comment from players and staff a potential indicator of where the club is headed. Moving on from the on-pitch struggles and the fraught atmosphere in the dressing room, the January transfer window has thrown Celtic into another whirlwind, one that promises excitement, but also carries a fair share of uncertainty. Fans are watching every move closely, and the speculation over who might arrive or depart is relentless. First, there's the chatter surrounding Jocelyn Taby, the young Israeli winger, reportedly on Celtic's radar. At just 20, he's shown glimpses of potential with a couple of goals and assists in the Israeli leagues, but there's a healthy skepticism among supporters. It's not just about his stats. It's about whether he can adapt to the physicality, pace, and scrutiny of Scottish football. Tabby's loan spell at Hapoel Petah Tikva has been marred by a recent ankle injury, meaning he's missed several matches, though reports suggest he's expected to return soon. If Celtic bring him in, it will be a test of patience, development, and adaptation. Will he rise to the challenge and make an impact in the hoops? Or will he be another name added to the list of hopefuls who never quite made the grade? Supporters are eager for a spark, someone who can bring dynamism to the wings, yet they remain cautious, remembering the disappointments of previous arrivals who failed to deliver under pressure. Alongside Taby, there's been the persistent talk about Steven Moreira, a defender with a solid track record in the MLS, even earning recognition as Defender of the Year. His presence at Celtic Park during the derby sparked rumours of a signing, though it may well have been a casual visit rather than a concrete move. Still, the fact that defensive reinforcements are being considered highlights the club's recognition of weaknesses at the back. Celtic have struggled with consistency in defence this season, and bringing in someone experienced could help stabilise the squad. Yet, the real question for fans is whether these additions will integrate quickly, whether the squad's mindset and attitude will allow any new signings to thrive, and whether management is addressing deeper issues rather than just plugging gaps with transfers. Every arrival is scrutinised not just for their skill, but for their potential to influence morale, chemistry, and the collective determination of the team. Off the pitch, there have been more subtle shifts in staffing and recruitment that point to long-term strategy. James Bell-Walker's appointment as a scout, following a lengthy tenure at Chelsea and roles at Bolton and Everton, suggests Celtic are seeking to refine their talent identification and scouting networks. Walker's experience at senior levels internationally could be a valuable asset, particularly as the club looks to rebuild and invest wisely. However, it also underscores the dual challenge Celtic face, improving behind the scenes while urgently addressing performance issues on the pitch. Supporters can see the intent, but they're impatient for tangible results, and the pressure to translate strategy into wins is immense. Meanwhile, the departures of players like Hayato Inamura and Jamai Simpson-Pussy reinforce the narrative of misfired signings. Inamura's solitary competitive appearance before his loan to FC Tokyo is a stark reminder of the gamble inherent in transfers. Simpson-Pussy's early exit to the Bundesliga, cut short from a season-long loan, is another example of a signing that never clicked. These moves reflect broader challenges in recruitment, assessing talent accurately, predicting adaptation to Scottish football, and ensuring new arrivals enhance rather than disrupt team cohesion. The club cannot afford repeated missteps in the current climate, particularly with the squad already struggling to buy into the manager's philosophy. Fan sentiment has been particularly vocal during this period. The Celtic Fans Collective have been actively seeking input from supporters ahead of key fixtures, including the upcoming match against Dundee United. Their communications make clear that many fans feel business as usual is no longer acceptable. There's talk of coordinated action, perhaps even a boycott, to make a point to the board about dissatisfaction with on-field results, managerial decisions, and the overall direction of the club. Even partial abstention from a match would be significant, given the usual atmosphere at Celtic Park. It's not just about protest. It's a statement that supporters expect more, that they demand accountability and tangible action from both players and management. The growing strength of feeling among fans illustrates the passion, pride, and frustration of a community deeply invested in the club's fortunes. The atmosphere within the squad is equally tense. Luke Macaulay's comments are just the most public example of internal unease. There have been hints of dissatisfaction from other players, while the absence of figures like Cole McGregor from media interactions fuels speculation that not everyone is on board with Wilfried Nancy. Tensions with coaching staff, exemplified by the whispers around Stevie Woods, further complicate the picture. Whether these are personality clashes, differences in football philosophy, or reactions to results, they combine to create a sense of instability. For a club with Celtic stature, the alignment of management staff and players is crucial. Without it, even talented squads can underperform and confidence erodes rapidly. The pressure on Wilfried Nancy is immense. He's inheriting a squad that's not fully committed, dealing with a fan base that is growing impatient, and navigating a January window filled with speculation and expectation. Comparisons to previous managers underline the difficulty. Under Brendan Rodgers, even during challenging spells, the players seem to believe in the system, trust in leadership, and push to reverse poor results. Now, there's a perception that morale is low, that the fight isn't there, and that internal disagreements are spilling out into public view. Nancy's task is therefore not just tactical, it's psychological, managerial, and cultural. He must instill belief in a squad that has already experienced frustration, poor results, and internal disharmony, while simultaneously satisfying a fan base that expects nothing less than excellence. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers are swirling through the Scottish game that Scott McTominay's time in Naples could be coming to an abrupt end, with Celtic emerging as the unlikely but tantalizing destination. Nothing is signed, nothing confirmed, but the idea alone has been enough to set tongues wagging across the Premiership. The Napoli midfielder, still admired for his physical presence and relentless engine, is said to be considering a return to British football, and Parkhead is being mentioned more and more quietly in the same breath. Those close to the situation suggest Celtic see McTominay as the missing piece in the middle of the park, a player capable of dictating tempo, breaking lines, and imposing authority in matches where control has sometimes slipped away. The notion is that his experience at the highest level, combined with his Scottish roots, would make him a natural leader in a side looking to reassert itself domestically and in Europe. It is also being suggested that the player himself is intrigued by the romance of the move, the chance to become the heartbeat of a club where midfield generals are remembered for generations. From Italy, the murmur is that Napoli may be open to discussions, particularly if McTominay feels his role is no longer central to their long-term plans. There is talk of a mutual understanding, a respectful parting that allows both sides to move on without noise or confrontation. Celtic, for their part, are believed to be exploring the financial gymnastics required, aware that wages and expectations would need careful handling. For now, it remains firmly in the realm of speculation. Yet the image is hard to ignore. McTominay pulling on the green and white, commanding the center of the pitch, driving forward with purpose and steel. Whether fantasy or foreshadowing, it is a rumor that refuses to fade, and one that has added a spark of excitement to the Scottish football conversation. Hello, fan, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.